Well, we've got some bad news for you. So it involves armour. Yeah, so that is about a third of your body weight.
I can barely breathe. Ah.
Hi, it's Todd at Todd's Workshop and Todd's Cutler here. And have you ever wondered what it's like to run in medieval armour like this? And today we are going to find out, because a supremely fit and well-toned man, an athletic man, a man with the physique of a 15th century soldier is going to do exactly that. But obviously it's not going to be me, let's face it. So let me introduce George.
Hi guys.
Now, George works for us in the office, but actually he runs up and down mountains, and he's rather good at it. But he does it not just because he's chased by wild beasts or rabid Welshmen, he does it for fun. So, George, how good are you?
Well, I'm an ultra runner, I'm a marathoner with a 2:49 PB, and I've got a 5k PB of 15:46.
15:46, that's a while back. Are you still on form?
Well, I'm all right, I've still got my hair at least.
I think the first thing to do is to get a control time. How long does it take you to run the distance? So from here to the church porch and back is exactly 1 mile.
Okay, ready?
Ready? Go. Yay! Good work. And what's the time, George?
Well, my time was 5 minutes for that
5.
mile.
Brilliant.
Which is
congratulations.
pretty good, not my fastest, but pretty good.
Well, we've got some bad news for you. So it involves armour, but you knew that already. Have you ever worn it before?
I've never worn armour before.
All right, so this is going to be totally new to you. There is quite a weight to it. As we put it on, we'll dial up what the weight is. So this is just a practice, just to see if he can even run in armour. It's beginning to look like the answer might be barely.
He looks like he needs a poo.
He does look like he needs a poo. So George, you are looking fine in your suited and bootedness. How does it feel?
Well, it's a bit heavier than I'd like for a run, but feels all right, we'll see.
Yeah, so that is about a third of your body weight. And the church is there and back a mile. So it's not just about a quick jog in the country. This is about asking some real questions. So fundamentally, the first one is going to be, after you do your mile, how do you feel? George, go for it. Obviously, George is not wearing any arm or leg armour. And this is a common choice, either because the individual didn't have them or they chose not to wear them. If long or rapid deployments are made, the risk caused by the extra weight can more than offset the better protection. And what I mean by that is the more weight you carry, the more tired you are when you get there and the less fit to fight you are. So you can see this choice of leaving armour off in manuscript pictures all the time. George! You don't even look half dead.
That was actually
Oh no, you're not.
surprisingly easier than I expected.
Do you know what the time was out of interest?
Yeah, I did 7:14.
7:14, right.
Which not even that slow a mile. I mean, the big differences I noticed immediately, your chest cavity breathing is much harder. So with the weight of the mail and with the restriction from the rig, you can't open your lungs as much. So I couldn't take those big deep breaths I normally would. I'm very hot. That's one thing I'll say. I'm very hot. I can feel myself already under here, just sweat dripping everywhere. And if I ran in it for longer, a big thing I'd notice would be chafing.
Right.
And something that's really interesting with mountain running or with weighted running or with through hiking, the weight isn't the only important thing. It's also where the weight is placed and the distribution of the weight. Mm-hmm. One of the things that really helped, we've got a tight belt on here, and the belt takes a lot of the weight of the mail. Yep. Some of the weight of the mail is on my arms, at my elbows, some of it's on my waist, some of it is on my shoulders, but generally it feels quite well distributed.
Hi. We've interrupted the film for another Todd Cutler related interesting fact. And today we have got a very early 14th century bollock dagger. This one comes from Scandinavia and it is the earliest one I know, dated around 1300. Anyway, you'll find this and loads of other pieces on toddcutler.com. Back to the film. So I can't believe this. This is 10 minutes later and you are fully recovered. Anyway, but you didn't run with weapons, and that does encumber you because, of course, as we run, we all move our arms, and you can't necessarily do that so well when you have got a sword on. which I know you haven't ever run with a sword before, you have to keep a hand on it. And there's your pole weapon. So that is not going to help at all. But the other thing, of course, is George did his running with the visor up. Now, you keep the visor up because it helps you with vision, which is going to help you with what's going on the road, but also with breathing. You've been redeployed and there's a bit of action. So it's time to bring that visor down. So, how does that feel?
Well, it's definitely harder to see. Good sun protection. I'm not going to get burnt.
You're not, but you are going to go for a run. So, George, good luck.
Okay.
And go.
I can barely breathe. Ah. Final 400. Time to turn the screw.
Hey! That was incredible. Let me take that and I'll take that up. Well, you are definitely breathing heavier.
But I think I might be breathing heavier for a second reason.
Faster?
I ran that one faster than the previous one.
Really? Even with the weapons on and visor
Yeah,
closed?
I mean, I left a little bit in the tank on the last one because I knew I was doing another one. So it was slightly more conservative and I really just gave it full beans.
And
so
your time was?
7:03. 7:03 mile, 12 seconds quicker. I tell you what the biggest difference was though. The biggest thing I wished I had was ear protection. It's so loud. Wow, I mean, I just think if I was wearing that all day, trying to move quickly, especially on a noisy battlefield.
I've always assumed that effectively the steel over your ears might muffle your hearing and things like that, but it's just the amount of noise that's being created.
Well, you're clipping it in so many places. And I mean, this leads into a fundamental point with this test, which is if you had tailored armour, it would be more comfortable, it'd be faster, it'd be easier to move.
There is one part of this film that I've not let you into the secret until now.
Okay.
We have got leg and arm armour, and we're going to put you on.
Oh my goodness, yep, okay, yeah.
Oh God, he actually said yes, so that was a complete joke.
Okay.
But no, if I now said to you, we've got leg and arm armour, do it again. I mean, genuinely, how would you feel?
Well, the two things is, first of all, I'm even hotter than the last one. I feel like a
Right.
boiled egg in here. And I mean, especially, I'm thinking about if you were a soldier in southern France or Italy in the summer, I mean, you would be absolutely roasting in here.
I mean, from my experience of reenactment battles as well, is heat exhaustion is just, it happens every single time. Somebody is passing out somewhere.
The worst place to have weight in running is on your feet, and anything below the knee will drastically slow you down. Even today, for this experiment, I've been wearing modern shoes. If I had armour below the knee, that would be especially hard to run in, and above the knee would be probably the second worst place to have weight.
So do you remember from the Arrows vs Armour 3 film? 'Cause
Yeah.
you were there for that. We didn't have legs on it.
Yeah.
And there was so much commentary about that's lunacy. But actually, if you had to deploy at speed for sort of 3-4 miles across rough terrain, that would be a very real choice about the leg armour.
Yeah, it'd be hard. I mean, the whole time you're doing it as well, with the visor down and with your heart rate up from running, it's a real reminder of how terrifying that would be. It creates a real claustrophobic sense. It's hot, you can't see very well. If you had arrows flying at you too, I mean, if you've got some Welsh muscle-bound whack job who's trying to hit you with a club, you need enough energy to fight back.
It's always the Welsh. No, but that's a very good, sorry Wales. No, it's a very good point though. When you arrived here, if I had been ready for a fight, would you have been able to take me on reasonably?
Well, I mean, maybe you, but if Joe Gibbs or someone was here, then I wouldn't fancy my chances.
Humour aside, were you in a fit state to fight when you came back here?
Probably not. I mean, again, it all depends who you're fighting, because if it's another guy in armour who's had to do the same thing as you, I mean,
Well,
I
then
still,
it's evens, isn't it?
I still feel like I could move, I have good mobility, but I mean, I would have been at a severe disadvantage against anyone who was not in heavy armour and who, I mean, I feel like with all the weight up here as well, I feel like a small shove would topple me over.
But again, we have to say that you are not a trained arm wearer.
Yep.
You are not a trained fighter in that sense. You are not the perfect 15th century soldier. let's not pretend he is. But he is a very fit man who has just done an extraordinary thing in armour.
I mean, if someone is more experienced in armour, I'd love to see them try and beat that. So
There you go, the gauntlet that you're not wearing has been thrown down. George, thank you very much, and farewell, because you will be leaving us, not just leaving the film. Thank you for all your time here, and thank you for today. But don't forget, we've got a second channel, Todd Cutler, and we have got our website, toddsworkshop.com, where you will find all sorts of stuff. And if you're interested in this kind of content, you will find it there. So anyway, I'll see you again. Thanks, guys. Yeah, right, you're sweaty.
I am very, very sweaty.